guys, how you doing? Let's flow into one game. We'll do a 10-minute one, and then we'll get into our studies with the French defense. Going more to the Slav setup here. Sorry, hold on. Don't touch the pieces. Okay, castles. If I castle. I'm just gonna castle. If he moves back, I'm gonna play G4, G5. I don't want to take to open that up. That'd be a very bad move to open up his rook onto my king. Very silly idea. There's a mistake here. If he plays there, I could take. And if he takes back, I grab his rook. Next idea is to see if I can't eyeball the G4. So he did go for that. That is really nice for me. Let me see here. I'm going to try to double up on the queen side. Okay. So now, oh, okay. Now this is being threatened right here. And I could pick up the knight. So we're getting set up nice. Yeah, that was a bad move. I missed that fork. So he placed there. I probably should just grab that. I want to see where I went wrong, because this seems a little too computer-esque move that my opponent played. So let's see if he played all computer moves. Well, too interesting. Okay, I'll give it a shot, another one. Alrighty. Oops, I have to, so you guys can write in. Come on. Let's do this thing. Let's get on our landed system. Come on, let's get it. We got this. We just have to stay focused and make the proper moves that the landed system would allow us to. We're doing it so perfect so far. Okay, moving my bishop out. I don't want to trade off if I don't have to. He plays back. I'm just going to retreat. Oh, sorry about that. I have to put my headset down. That's right. Okay. You know, I forgot something. I put it up, but it's okay. Alright, let's see, what do we got here? Let's see if we push there. Let's just make our pyramid wall. You always can make the pyramid if you're kind of wanting to see what your opponent's going to play. So he made the pyramid. depends on what he plays here. If he pushes, then we take, of course. If he pushes, he might push there. Oh, the queen's coming out. That's different for sure. Actually, that helps us out. Alright, now you get to see how if he takes here, you could take. Okay. Trying to figure out which way. If he takes D takes E4, I think we should probably take knight takes E4, and if D knight takes E4, bishop takes E7, king takes E7, then bishop takes E7, then pawn takes. Could just leave that, and then after I take the bishop, and then play queen E2. So like if he, what I'm trying to say is if he takes here, we'll take back here. If he takes here, we'll take when he takes there, and we potentially have queen to E2 at that point. That's probably what I would play, and that also gives me the accessibility of castling queen side or king side, which allows me to have flexibility there. So that's an interesting idea. He'll probably take with the king, then I could take back my bishop, and excuse me, we have, oh, nice. I'm castling, and I'm bringing my remember I have better development. His king's out in the open, so it's actually time for me to get my rooks to their optimum placement along here and along here, see if I can't get some attack going. Pow. go. Got him. Let's see how we did here, and then we'll get started on our thing. I got him. So pushing here. Probably taking the pawn is oh. Probably more likely, yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. If you place there, then you could actually get in behind. And there's really no way now to stop. I mean, I think we can actually grab this at this moment. So I can't do that. So let's see here. If he'll probably play up here. Then we check. He'll come down here. Yeah, I did grab that pawn. Okay, so it's a draw. Sweet. Okay, let's get into our French defense. Hurrah! Okay, knight to knight f3. Of course, you guys know that the main line of the advanced variations here, here, and there. This is basically the main line, or you can go to subline with f4. All depends if you want more of a sharper line. So see, so you could at this point, he said, do this. When you play knight, you don't have to play bishop d. You can play c takes d, which is one of our other lines that we talked about. You could also play c3 right now, and then transpose into a kind of odd looking advanced variation. It's an advanced variation, but it's one piece out of order. And let me see, what else did he say? Now see, you can do. There's also this move too that is pretty. Excuse me. It's pretty popular, which is it's a dubious move, but I've had it played on me a lot. One second, I need to get a drink of water. Much better. I've had this move played on me before, bishop b5. Very dubious setup, because how you can meet that is bishop to d7. And at this point, you score about 70. Black usually scores about, he says, like 73%, on this. He does percentages, but I don't know. It's all about who can play, who plays the position. Then at this point, bishop. Let me see, bishop. They usually play this move: takes. Bishop takes. You could do bishop takes, but bishop takes isn't as good as b takes c. Because now what you're wanting to do is break down. You want to keep this pawn chain and open up. Okay, I haven't went over the French, this type of French line in a while, so you gotta bear with me if I have to look at my notes every once in a while. Let's see, here. Okay, d takes c, and then bishop takes c5. So now we have accomplished the ability to push. So we have eliminated one of the two pawns. He castles, of course. It's kind of like a must. And then bishop queen c7 to attack the e5 pawn, and a4, not h4, not a4. What is it? A3, right? What did I miss here? Hold on. Give me a second, because I missed something. A4. Oh, 8. Oh, my bad. Okay. So we take castles, queen. What did I? Okay, here. So the bishop c. There. So we take. So on move 6. That's right. Okay, I know the problem. I'm move sequence out of order. I see. So 6 would actually be draft. I dislike sometimes my notes get a little we gotta redo that. We'll redo this again. Okay, so bishop here. That's the main line in my notes. Okay, so then now after that, what does he play? C, knight. Okay, let me just take a look. Bear with me here, guys. Okay, now we got the right move. Okay. It's not bishop d, so there. I'm not sure about this, so we'll move on to the next one because it's all the book. When I looked at it, it's all muddled. It doesn't. I can't figure out sometimes his stuff. So yeah, we'll just move on to the next one. Sometimes his notes, it's good. There's a lot of information, but not so. So F. So now in this line, there's C5, bishop C5, F6 like what was played in the game. That's about it. Let me see here. So e5 actually is challenged by the pawn. So let's see, what do we got here? So if f6 here. So he says intending to set up bishop c5, like what we talked about here. Bishop c5 for black. He analyzed that. He also has an addition, the theoretical sharp line of f6, which is what we're going over. Immediately would challenge the f5 pawn. So there is also g6 is suggested in some of the his lines, but if we play c5, rook e1, and then now we have to find out where this picks up at. All right. This is the interesting line of when rook e1 slides over. You have to remember that white's trying to guard the e5 pawn here. So keep an eye on the e5 pawn while I get the rest of the move sequences in sequence here. There's also bishop, and then g6, g6. c5, and there are a few examples, but most players will actually play rook to e1, like what we talked about here. Not bishop g. Say bishop. So let me move back here. So he doesn't like this move here. He says that most players could play here, but if you play g6, which is what he's talking about, there's rook to e1, and then bishop g7, and then there's queen to f4. Now we're on the right track. Bishop f4. I knew we would find it, guys. Just have to be patient. f6. Let me see. I want to make sure we're on the right one, because some of the notes, he's really thorough here. I might have to get a different French defense book, because I need to have stuff there's not so much notation. So I'll have to look into finding one of those. I know what we can do. Let me see here. No, I think we'll just keep with this just for today. I have a manual. Let me see if it's right here. I might do this here. Modern openings here. The modern chess openings. I might go over that and just go over those lines, because it's a lot easier to read than this. But if you want a thorough analyzing of the French, this is the book for you. But if you just want to kind of learn the basics and you don't want to get overwhelmed, the modern one is the best one, I think. Let me see here. So knight f. So we're on 8. 8. Okay, dokie. So we're on f4. Okay, there's the line. Breaks. F6. Alright, here we go. Finally found it, because there's a lot of brackets he has in there. Knight bd2. And then another bracket, so let's find out. Knight g to e7. Exclam here. And what we have to remember is e takes f, bishop takes f, and knight to e5. Which is a very dubious line setup, and I don't really like that line because of knight takes. Bishop takes, and rook takes, and then black castles and knight f3, queen to d6, and white has nothing for the pawn in this line, so he actually loses in this line. White has no compensation at all. The line that we're going over is queen to e2, but you have to remember queen e2 is a good move. There's a line that I've seen many players play, which is e1, which is actually a mistake because you have to remember that f2 is always a potential weakness for the king. So you sometimes got to be pretty eerie of when this sets up like that. You lose the center with f takes e5 here. Also loses the center too. Knight takes f5. Knight takes f5. Rook takes. e5, of course, e5. And then knight f6. And I prefer black here all day long. There's b5 check, king f7, queen takes. He's getting his pawn back. Bishop d6, but at what cost, right? Rook e3, queen to c7. Exclam, because what it's doing is it's hitting 2 points, and one of those are going to fall. Queen h4, and then compound g5. Exclam. How is it says 8? That can't be. Oh, whoa. I'm sorry, guys. Wrong spot here. Oh, that's funny. G5. Now that's the exclam mark, baby, right there. Harry. No, now it's Gary. Queen h6. And queen, wham, kaboom. White is in bad shape here. If he tries, well, let me make sure I got this right. Okay, now we're going back. There's also this line. That was one line, so that's a line. You could also try bishop to f4 here, which is also an idea, but that's still a mistake because g5 just allows expansion. And now once g6, g3 happens, you have g4. Knight h4. You have f takes e. Queen takes g, and then knight to f6. And this is the line that it's better for black in this line. this is a better move for black. So there's also another try that white has tried. I've seen this been played on me before. It's when he moves the piece twice. But again, remember, you always have the in-between. You always have the blocking move, bishop to d7. Takes, of course, take. Queen takes to get the pawn back. c5, you're attacking the queen. And let me see. Queen f4. f5. Because you're shutting everything down. c4. d4, pass pawns, baby. Yeah, we're loving that. b4. Knight e7. Let's see. Oh, my bad there. C takes b4. Knight takes d4. And knight to e7. Queen e3. He's trying to hold on. He's just too much pressure is coming down the pike. Now g6 is an interesting setup, because next, of course, you guys are seeing that black's going to try to play queen c2 with an attack on these two pawns here. Bishop c5. Bishop, not c5. Oh, f4, my bad. And now bishop c5 for black, that's right. Knight d2, a5, and now we're getting rolling and going. Oops, wrong side. It's this side here to attack this bishop. Bishop a7 to keep an eye, because the queen eyes that and the bishop eyes there. a3, a4. Wow, the pressure is just massive here. A takes b, c5, castles, and with the idea of knight, he has a lot of ideas of basically playing there and in. He's going to reroute his knight back and pocket it right at d5, which would take scope on the queen. Okay, so that was an interesting setup for sure. But he played queen e2, kind of otherwise you get into those large lines, and you don't want to get into that type of a line. He says, I used this as the main line because it probably is the best way to play for a win. Also because there is less theory than if you were to, for black, there's more theory to this here. Or you could play, if you don't like that, takes there. Where we're analyzing in the second edition of the book, this type of a setup is playable. So he says that if you wanted to go down this line, you're going to have to know a pretty good amount of theory, because what's going to happen is the bishop's going to go to f4 guarding the knight, and then you have an attack there, so you have to be on total guard. Bishop d6 to pin. Knight d2, castles, d to f3 right here, queen c7, and we're just mounting pressure after pressure on our opponent. Bishop G3. At this point, I suggested actually, he suggests this move here, knight to H5, and it undermines the entire setup for white, because the knight now is the bishop is under fire and it has to stay along here. We have enough counterplay potentially just to, let's just say he plays let's say he plays here, right? We can just go kerplunk, and then if he takes here, you can go kerplunk, and then if he takes here, he can't, so he's gonna have to take here. Then you go kerplunk, then he takes, and then kerplunk, and I believe we're up a whole piece, and if the queen takes there because of the knight bishop's guarding it. So let's see, let's take scope on how many pawns. 2, 4, 6, 7. We're up 2 pawns here. That's why you have to be really on your guard when you do that line. There's bishop to f4, which that's been played on me a couple times, so I gotta get a drink of water. This holds in theory the pawn, because you have 3 pieces now, and we only have 2. We only have these 2. It's held 3 times. But if you wanted to kind of be a little bit more aggressive, b5, bishop b5 again. It's safer. Black has an easy time after basically f takes e. This is better for black. If white ever gets a little too over greedy, knight takes knight, knight to f6, knight d2, and let me see, where is it cut off here? Hold on, I need a bit longer. Okay, bishop to d6, knight d to f3, and then black castles. With a pawn in active play, this is actually what happens. Rook to e1, fall short, and then let's see, knight to e4, c takes, b takes, and bishop d3, and then knight to c5, exclam. This now cements the structure for black. He'll basically play c. If he takes here, he can't take here because of the knight. So if, let's say, he tries knight there, that pawn falls. Wow, this is a desperate position for. So g5 gets plowed right. Kabang! You know what I mean? It's like, kaboom. I like kabang, not boom. And then there, you could try. This is I always call it the kamikaze idea. I've seen a player do this, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's very interesting, because what you're trying to do is do kind of like a almost Greek gift on black, but you're giving up your bishop. So f takes, knight takes g. It enters into a very interesting type of sacrifice. Let's see, it falls short after knight takes. What am I missing here? Hold on, give me a sec, my friends. Let's see. It takes G. Oh, I gotcha. I see. I knew I forgot. I knew I missed something in the notes. And then H check, king D2, D7, knight D2, knight F6, queen F3 check, bishop intercepts, knight D to F, and queen D6. And black's position is safe, and he's up a whole piece for 2 pawns, which is winning if he can hold, and he will hold this. So he played, instead of taking, he played G3, G4, and knight to H4. There's also an alternate, he played this move, there's also an alternate line if you're interested. You can play knight F, D2, and then F5, and this cements the structure for black. And white's in a world of hurt. A world of pain's about to be brought down on white. He plays H, and so white does, black does a beautiful move, and I was so impressed. F takes E5. It's like, wow, you know, you just annihilated the center at this point. If you're kind of a little concerned about that, you don't want to go for that. There's always the interesting line as well, knight to if you feel uncomfortable about opening up your king like that and you want to play more positional, F5 is an okay move too, but not as beautiful and strong as taking E5. But some players can't at the beginning stomach that type of an attack. You have to be okay with an attack that's going to be coming down the pike, but you've disintegrated the center, which if black can do that, black's dominating the game. So knight D2, F4, can't be right, F4. Oh, gotcha. Knight E. There we go. Knight E2. This is another interesting setup for black as well. It's more of a holding. He plays F4, trying to lock down the position. Black goes G6, and he's daring him, take me. If you take me, I'll take back, and I'll have this open file. My structure will be rock solid. And how are you going to make any progress to get your pawn back? There is no way to do that. So B3, bishop E7. Now we're double attacking, so he's putting the question to him. G takes is forced, and then G5 is the next move, and potentially bishop to D7 and castle queenside could also be a playable idea. So bishop for bishop D7, and then castle queenside for black, and black that now has a humongous bind on the king side. So he takes, queen takes, F6, E. Oops. You don't have to take here if you don't want to. If you kind of feel a little awkward for white, B5's a move that you can play. Then bishop G7 to hold on to this pawn. Though you gotta be ready though. And then the knight, and you're, by not taking the pawn right away, you're allowing black to have counterplay. Let's see here. Queen takes. I know it looks like you can't do that, but the knight's pinned. Remember, castles, and that gets an exclam. Bishop takes C. Knight E4. Threatens the bishop on C6. And knight takes G there. And you have that as well. So, kind of an interesting line to say the least. So takes F, E, and so this is just what happens with play of a huge amount of strategy. If you like a strategic attacking, this is the line for you. If white plays this move back here, let me see, where is it? Back here. If white plays this move here on you, now you know what to do. You just develop. And we'll just go through real quick. There's attack. Just remember, stay calm, take. Queen takes, knight comes in, and you're just building. And at this point, this way it says the E4 or knight to A5 would with the advantage, and the main line for black's pawn mass. So you could actually play this right now, or you could play knight and in. It all depends. If you want to get your attack rolling pretty fast, that's one way. If you kind of want to set up for an attack, that's another way as well. Because then if the knight takes, the pawn potentially could take, or maybe after there you have A6, B5, and you get the pawns rolling. Alrighty. I like it. Sometimes though, I have to get used to notations. I like books that have notations with words. You know, some people talking about or the grandmasters talking about their ideas, but it's actually, this forces us to dive in and make it our own. Let me check one thing to make sure our streaming's doing okay. Perfect. Okay, dokie. So that was that, and let's do a game. We'll do a 5-minute casual. Now we're going after here. Now we're eyeballing that pawn. eyeball in there. So he's going to have to retreat his bishop. He'll have to move his queen. When he does, we pick off the bishop. Pow. We're so far ahead in material that even though we slightly made an inaccurate move there, we're still good. match him one more time. Kapow. There, another pawn falls. His pawn chain is just collapsing internally. Excuse me. Let's get castled. Okay, one more. We're, if you notice how we're doing it, making my, I'm trying. Either one of these two spots. So good game for him. Nah, I'm good. That was an interesting game. It got low on time. All right, let's do it to it. Well, We'll do about two of these puzzles, and then I got a log. Let's see, what do we got here? I'm thinking that potentially I'm thinking of taking here, but I see that if knight takes c6, there's bishop c5, and that causes a lot of headache to. Well, actually, you could just after that, no, you just trade queens. Huh? Actually, if he plays that move, let me take another scope on this. Pause. If bishop there, then we play queen takes f6. G takes f6. Knight d4. Check. c6. Knight takes e6. C takes b5, and knight to, I think, f4 maybe. So I'm thinking that knight takes, so knight takes here, if bishop there, queen takes, pawn takes, knight retreats back, c6, knight takes, b takes c, and then knight to f4. And then I'm taking scope on this pawn on d5, so I potentially could win a d5 pawn as well. So yeah, we looked at it. So that changes everything. That's like the game changer. Just thinking potentially bishop back. Well, maybe if we grab the queen, let's take a look. Queen takes f6. G takes f6, and then bishop a6. No, that wouldn't work, because then the bishop could actually pin, or bishop could pin the knight. Well, if we take here, bishop, and then this is what I'm a little concerned if he takes there, we retreat back at this point, right? He's got bishop there, and that pins our knight. So we're in a bad problem. Bad problem. So maybe we have to retreat our bishop back first. Yeah, see that, and then this is the idea: bishop to d7. That's that. But there's also another line that if bishop a4 right now, would bishop c d7 still be played though? I don't think, well, I don't think so, because then we can, I don't think, if we played here, then let's say you played there, right? We can actually reroute our knight there. Then if the bishop takes back here, we can play queen takes, check. He plays there. Yeah, I'm gonna retreat the bishop back. Yeah, because taking only loses. If we take here, b takes, and then if we retreat back there, the bishop comes in, and we're kind of sunk. And this happens if bishop pins. We actually could take there. And then if bishop takes, we could play knight takes. That was kind of my idea. We'll do one more. Come on, guys, one more. Let's make this good. Okay, if knight takes, we have to look at, there's basically, you look at checks. Are there any checks? No. So if we do knight takes, e5, pawn takes e5, then we grab the queen, I mean the bishop. So knight takes e5, queen takes e5, bishop takes knight. If pawn takes knight, we play rook to e1, and we pin the queen to the king. Because if we play bishop takes here, pawn takes, let's say knight takes, right? Queen takes. Trying to visualize this. So if bishop takes here, pawn takes, knight takes, kind of lost in this. This is so, I know it's not complicated. In this line right here, we pick up everything. So I'm just going to go with that. And then bishop takes. Let's see. Okay, I have two places to plant the king. Here and there. This allows potentially for bishop to come back, but then I pinned the if we play over here, there's a pin here, but he still has to retreat back. Then we can actually play queen there. Wow. Okay, well, we'll call it on that. Well, let's see. Why isn't that the best? Oh. Okay. Well, do you guys have any questions on this before I log off? Because we'll pick up another one. 50-50 is not bad. You know what? You know what? That's just we learned something from it. I just call it 1.75. We got it wrong at the very end, but and what? Let's do this. Let's get it right now, and then we'll be 100 for 100. Watch. There we go. 100 for 100. There we go. Because it's not about points, it's about learning. So you guys have any questions about this? I'll give you guys a minute to put in, because I know there might be some sort of lag. So I'll give you till 12:48. Don't be afraid if you have any questions on it. Or 12:47, because then that gives you a full minute. Otherwise, you'll be waiting here watching me for 2 minutes. But you know that's fun, because then I get to talk to you, right? But okay, you guys don't have anything, all right? Well, you know what, guys? You have to remember, not always going to get them right. And sometimes it's just those small changes in the position that switch the whole entire basically board around. Everything gets it could just be like, by not moving the king up there, he was able to play rook takes, which our king's pinned to the pawn, so we can't take. But in the other line we could. So it all goes down to just that amount. Just that amount. So specificness is important. So we have to keep that in mind when we're studying. We're going to continue to keep pushing forward with Play the French. I know it's just sometimes I get a little frustrated when it comes to trying to read the notation, but it's good for me to do that. It's good for me to actually sit down and do the notation. And you know what? Sometimes you may not want to do what you may not want to sit down and hang up your coat, hang up your hat, and do the work that's before you. But trust me, when you do, and then you sit down at that table, you will be impressed at the ability the Lord's given you in your mind, because you dedicated when others would not. You listened to Chess Crunchers podcast and others, and you used the knowledge the Lord's given you to keep pushing forward. Remember, there are no plateaus. No, sorry, there are no limits. That's what I should say. There are plateaus. So if you're at a plateau right now, don't feel bad. Even the greats got at a plateau. Sometimes you have to try something new, a different opening, maybe more tactics, maybe take a break or so from it. Not very long, but maybe just take a break and then come back. Some teachers have told me that helps maybe a day or so. Don't take more than too many, because you'll forget what you've priorly learned. but sometimes a slight break will help your mind also to relax. And you know what? Sometimes all you need to do is 30 minutes. You don't need to have people like, I need a whole week off. No, sometimes you just need to step away, do something else for a little bit, then come back and you have a fresh perspective on the position and chess in general. Remember, knowing is not enough. So you can know a lot of information, but unless you apply it and unless you do the work, it's not going to do anything for you. Because you can read a lot, but unless you apply what you read, it's like playing a game. It's like playing chess, but without and you know a lot of the principles. But wouldn't it be better to have read a book and then apply that book on the board? Yeah. Willing is not enough. You could will to be, the strongest person, in chess and all these different types of things. But unless you do it, then it won't happen. So remember that. So it has to start though. You could start with the willing to do it, which means I will sit down and I will do this. I will sit down. And then now you have to say, I will do this. And then that's what Bruce is saying. Remember what Hannibal Smith said. You have to be the one to take the initiative to actually set up a plan. Think he had to set up a board and go over with it with his guys, his men. So how much time did that take to study that? You know what I mean? So we have to put in our time so that we can have the Hannibal Smith instinct of knowing what your opponent's going to do before your opponent even does it. That's what we have to have. That comes with practice and time. Don't worry about it if you make mistakes. Don't intentionally make mistakes though. Do your best. If you blunder some, go back, find out why you blundered it, and learn. Maybe you have to move a knight somewhere. So you know what? Learn from it. Don't ever think of a mistake as a failure. It's an opportunity to learn. It's only a failure if you don't use the mistake to improve. Also, guys, will you please keep the East Coast in your thoughts and prayers? I haven't checked the weather yet, but there was a lot of rain and there's still, even if the storm did blow over, there still is a lot of rain and devastation that's there. So just pray for the families too, that they're safe and they're comforted, and you know what, that they understand that the Lord is the Lord. It's easy for me to say, I understand, but remember, they do need our thoughts and prayers, okay? And I know what I'm telling you guys is heavy and a lot, but I know you guys can handle it, because you know what? We're like coal. Coal under pressure ends up becoming a diamond. But trust me, if that coal could talk, it probably would say, please don't put that pressure. But when you peel away that coal and there's that diamond inside, it's all worthwhile. Okay? And I'll leave you guys with that. As Wesley So says, through the Lord Jesus, and as I say, God bless. And I'll see you guys next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, evening, guys. And you know what? Keep pushing forward. And Lord willing, I'll be back. We'll go over the French, and we'll keep getting stronger. Go Team Chess Cruncher. Hurrah. Hoorah. Okay, be blessed, guys. And I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye-bye.